back on another exciting episode of Starfleet Boy. Why am I laughing so much? Where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. And today I'm joined by a very special guest who has traversed a universe and time to come and be with us here. It's Mirror Trek on the Tube. Hello.
Hi, it's great to be on the show.
It's great to have you. Wow.
Nobody told me about No Guardian. I've been trying to create a contraption or a device to go home.
Well, we have to talk about that because I'm not sure that he can take you to your home. I think that that was a temporal incursion, perhaps, that created a mirror Kelvin timeline. I don't know. We'll have to talk about it.
You're just throwing words together now.
I am. It's true. I got to do a banner so that people know there's no.
Did you try to write that in French? Part deux.
Yeah, is that spelled wrong?
Yeah, there's no A.
Oh fuck! How do you really spell it?
Deux.
Oh, it's deuce. Deuce. It's like, dude, deuce. I don't know if we're gonna. I don't know if we're gonna have an audience today, Mirror Trek on the Tube, because this is an unusual stream. Thank you for doing this so early, 10 in the morning. Unusual, I know. You can even tell I'm still kind of waking up. I am a morning person, but.
Well, that's why I'm here. Trek on the Tube's asleep still, lazy bastard.
That makes sense. Here, let's create this banner, and then we can just start talking about it. Do you want to give the episode summary while I do all that? Mirror Trek on the Tube. You want to do that?
Oh, so this counts as a new guest?
Yes, it does.
I can do that. We pick up where the first episode left off. We're in the Mirror Universe, and we're experiencing the Mirror Universe, or these kind of the events that we've seen in season 1 are unfolding differently, and we're following Emperor Georgiou's perspective. She's trying to break Burnham. She's trying to get her to come over to her side, and she's trying to get Mirror Burnham, to become more like Prime Burnham. Essentially, she wants that, and she wants to show Prime Burnham that there's a different way to rule the Terran Empire. And so we have a pretty much a long moment of her trying to break her. Eventually, Mirror Burnham is broken, and she comes back to her side. And they set out to kill and find all of the people that are involved with the Lorca plot, the Mirror Lorca subplot that we had in season 1, which
that was a
trying to kill.
Heck of a lot of badges, by the way.
That was a lot of badges. There were a lot of people on that ship that were involved.
Damn.
So there's going to be, it would have been a long process, I think, to get all the people. But they start with Landry, so Landry gets a third death.
Wait.
On the show.
Oh yeah, you're right.
In just 3 seasons.
It's true.
That's what you get for not being a good officer. But it turns out it was all a scam. Mirror Burnham was pretending to be converted. And events go down, a big fight happens, everyone dies, and then poof, we reappear on the magical snow planet of Toronto, I'm assuming. And we get a big reveal that
I am the Guardian of,
with some jacked audio from the original series, I would think.
And an awesome new special effects sequence. Wow.
Yeah, we get some big VFX on the planet's surface. It is not explained explicitly where Georgiou goes, but Carl, the Guardian of Forever, explains that Georgiou can go back into the portal and go back to a time and place that is more appropriate to her journey. I suppose that's the way.
And also, one in which the two universes are closer together.
Yes, so it's back in time where the two basically parallel universes were closer. So she goes back. Burnham goes back to the ship. She's a bit sad because there's Mirror Georgiou is gone. And we also get a small subplot on the ship where they're still trying to figure out basically where the signal is coming from. and book. He's trying to make himself useful.
Very nice. And
I suppose it concludes with a bit of an admiral talk.
Dadmiral.
Yeah, I like
That's
that guy.
I was a little nervous about that scene actually,
Oh, no.
because, well, I have this like irrational fear that they're going to make the Federation the bad guys. But I think that I spoke to who I'm now referring to as the Oracle, Dom Paris, this morning.
The Oracle.
Yeah, he's like,
Why does he get a title?
he gets a title because he predicted the f out of this Guardian of Forever thing.
He did.
He was the first one that I heard
Those were the two leading theories, I
doing
think. Like, I don't know who did it first. Maybe it was Dom the Oracle. But yeah, the two leading theories were Q and Guardian. So it didn't. And of course, the other one was maybe it can be something that isn't. It's maybe something new. But I'm very surprised that Discovery actually went full exposition and that they explained it and they were like, this is this guy. This is what's happening. This is why the Guardian is here now. This is what happened, and I'm very, very surprised that Discovery did that, and I'm very happy that they did.
and a new element to the Guardian. Like apparently he can turn into Carl, and he does do a double snap when he leaves. By the way, or he'd like, or at least he holds his hands up. Did you notice? Like, there's a
I
little.
didn't
I
notice
think
that
there's.
detail.
I think.
I have to notice that in my rewatch.
I think there's still a little bit of Q technology going on.
But
With the
he's
Guardian.
explained that he's neither biological, neither technological. I was reading up on the Guardian this week, and he's nothing. He is
He's pure magic.
he has no beginning, he has no end. He's neither technology, neither biological. So anything you can do with him essentially makes sense, right? There's no sense to him, so you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yep, yep. Hey, Bird of Prey 5, thanks for joining us this early morning. Can we call you Bop 5? Bird of Prey 5, Bop, Bop.
Bop 5.
Is that already a thing?
I don't know.
In TOS, in the city on the edge of forever, Spock specifically asks the Guardian if it can show time different, and the Guardian says no, he can only operate in the way he was designed. Show time differently, like how it would be if it changed, perhaps.
I'd have to go. I'd have to go back and rewatch those things.
Rewatch it as well too.
Yeah, to kind of really get the dialogue where they're coming from. But
Thank you. That's interesting. I'll have to go back and watch too. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen. I mean, the last time I watched it, I think I was like doing a drinking thing. Which, by the way, this week on Starfleet Boy After Dark, there will be no drinking for Starfleet Boy. I'm going to be the designated runabout pilot.
oh no. To be fair, the Guardian seems very enigmatic in the way he speaks and in the way he kind of like goes around, and he kind of openly I don't know, he's not very transparent when it comes to truths and stuff like that. So maybe depending on who he's talking to, when he's talking to them, and why, you know what I mean, he can change his opinions, or he can just change what he says. I suppose you can straight up lie to you.
Yeah, it's true. Also, Captain Chili Bean points out that in 900 years the Guardian could change or evolve. So there's that, and I'm okay with that too.
So the Guardian was constructed by an alien race,
perhaps
millions of years ago, something like that.
Yeah, and Jill, who comes on the stream sometimes, likes to think it's the Takan Empire. By the way, there was still a Takan reference in the front of the newspaper. I don't know if it's the same stuff as was in the front of the newspaper as before, but I did see that. And then the Janolan thing is on there again as well, so that was interesting.
It's just the headline that changes, right?
What's that?
Is it just the headline that changes? I didn't notice. Well,
I guess,
on my first viewing, I don't pay as
compare.
much attention to those. I just finished watching it.
People more photoshoppy than myself will be constructing awesome infographics and posting them online shortly. I have no doubt, if they're not already online somewhere. Let's talk about let's talk about the conclusion to last week. for a while there, I actually thought that Giorgio was reverting back to her super wicked ways, but then I realized it wasn't. So I was pleased. But did you think that like okay, let's just talk about this then. Here, this is my big question. So like everyone was saying that they wanted this to either be a illusion that was there to simulate, you know, the mirror universe, or that like a tapestry type thing,
Hmm.
or that the events would change, but only would not actually change. They would be different, but like somehow time makes forces it to be the same way every time or whatever, right? So
Mm.
I actually predicted that Stamets would be alive somehow, and so that they could everything could fit in nicely.
Wrong,
And of
sir.
course, yeah, it's totally wrong. In fact, like everyone dies. Like that shouldn't have died. They killed Detmer. They killed
I think
everyone.
it does count as an illusion. And like in Tapestry, it's not explicitly said that Q created an illusion or Q brought Picard back in time. It's never explicitly said. It's just like I think that as a fandom, we've come to generally accept it as it was an illusion created by Q, right?
Hmm.
And it's never been said, but that's just what makes the most sense. If we were to kind of respect the rules that we've made up for our little Star Trek universe, and I think this is the same case. Like I think it
And he
makes
does
more sense to
say,
think that it's an illusion.
and
It
well,
was a test. It was all a
it was a
test.
test. It could also be a temporal incursion, much in the same way that the Kelvin timeline was a temporal incursion
Well,
as well.
Agent Daniels in Enterprise talks about he talks about temporal incursions, and there's like I forget how to call them, but there's like these little temporal side steps that you can take, where you kind of navigate to the side of a temporal stream and see what happens there, and then it doesn't become the prime, it doesn't become like the dominant time stream. You know what I mean? And so this could be the same kind of thing. Like the Guardian may have the power to maybe just create a little incursion, see what happens, but it doesn't become the dominant. The dominant mirror universe time stream is still the one that we saw unfold in season one.
Right. And obviously, nothing changes in the future that we are aware of, so everything still happened as it should. Um, Bird of Prey 5 and Captain Chilibean are discussing about whether the Guardian could evolve in 900 years. It's already a million, you know, millions and millions of years old. I think that like maybe it's so advanced that it can just add abilities if it needs them, right? And so already, well, like already it's on the run, right? Like it decided it doesn't want to be on the planet that it was on before, and
It
that's
can
something new
cloak
that,
now.
yeah, it can cloak. It can turn into Carl. Like it's created a personality for itself called Carl. Like like so like there's some interesting things that the Guardian is capable of now that we wouldn't have thought. We perhaps I always thought it was like a fixture on that planet and that
Of,
somehow
of all the
tied
things
to
that
the
I that
planet.
I that I do nitpick about, when we get to concepts like the Q or the Guardian of Forever, I really do think it's hard to start nitpicking on that because the concepts are so, I don't know. It's
It's
you
open.
know what I
It's
mean.
so open. Like it's so
Yeah,
open, and there's really nothing here that binds it to any previous kind of action. Yeah,
exactly. And I think new
yeah.
writers can kind of go in the direction they want. Like as long, yeah. I mean, I was going to say as long as you don't make it something that completely breaks everything, but they kind of do break Star Trek in any case because
How about
you know what I
how
mean.
about that special effect with the door shattering and reforming as the I thought it was very cinematic. I was like very excited by
When
that. I
it
was like,
broke and when it shattered and all the
yeah,
shards, I was like,
yeah,
oh, it's gonna reconstruct into the Guardian. I was like, I was wrong. It is the Guardian. Come back, boom, and it is like, oh my goodness.
yeah. Yosef is here and wants to know why so early. Yosef, we decided that we didn't want to torture you to stay up late any longer. So no, I have a speaking of temporal incursions, I have an unexpected uh thing I have to do at our regularly scheduled time. So Trek on the Tube was not available, but Mirror Toddy here was gracious enough to come
Yeah,
and join us for the discussion, and so that's why we're here. Um,
absolutely.
I didn't get to watch the whole Jesse Gender review, but Jesse was saying how
almost as long as the episode.
so our things are sometimes longer than the episode.
Yeah, that's very true.
But I know you do yours are nice and I actually love watching yours because I know I'll get it like in 10 minutes or 15 minutes, 20 minutes max. I'll get all the things I need plus Easter eggs and stuff like that. So now you can start working on your part 1 and part 2 video.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's gonna take forever.
Cool. You have until Tuesday. It's plenty of time. But anyways, so we're early because of that, Yosef. The Guardian said Saru would go on to help lots of other Calpians. That only makes sense if it was real. I mean, it was a real experience. Giorgio has 3 months worth of bio data on her wristband. Did you get the impression that was 3 months of torture for poor Michael Burnham? Dang. I guess I did. I mean, like, she was looking hurt and pretty awful there at the end with like all the inflammation and from the torture and not eating and stuff like that. It's pretty.
I mean,
pretty
to be fair,
brutal.
didn't Lorca go through like 6 months or 9 months or how? No, it was Landry or something that went through so much in the first season.
Captain Chili Bean time stuff is confusing, but the easiest way I can explain it is to start watching go watch lots and lots of Doctor Who. Eventually it just makes sense. Paradoxes are generally resolved. Paradoxically, mustache. That's like perfect. You really look like you're a alternative rocker from the 90s. It's quite.
You think this looks good?
Yes, I don't know why, but I don't know. It's a little early for this. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, this is Starfleet Boy After Dark content, is it?
This is like Starfleet Boy way too early. Breakfast, morning time with Starfleet Boy. But anyways, it can still the events have already occurred, so like if she actually went back in time, she created a temporal incursion which created an alternate timeline, and so it doesn't affect Burnham and the gang at all. Like the way it went down for them still went down exactly as it did, and then now there's another version of the events that also went down, but it doesn't replace the version that already occurred to bring everyone there. Does that make any sense, Toddy? Did
yes,
I describe that? Okay, cool.
I think it's an illusion or an alternate reality type situation where it doesn't replace the original events that we saw in season 1.
That's kind of the extent of how you have to think about it. Like if you go too deep, you get into this like Mobius strip type thinking, which I've done many a time, and it doesn't really get you anywhere because our brains are just not wired to think in the fourth dimension, which is what you truly need to be to be able to see all this timey-wimey stuff. So yeah. Anyway,
this is how you look sexy.
What's that?
Well, Yosef has said that he's seen my porn. I think he's referring to the mustache.
Oh.
So
you said that so nonchalantly that for a moment I thought there was one out there, and I was like, that was new information for Starfleet Boy. That's interesting. Siri, block the OnlyFans of Trek on the Tube.
No, Captain Chili Bean. What I think this means, I have to take.
Oh shit! Go ahead. Sorry.
What I think this means is, he sent. The Guardian of Forever has sent Giorgio back into the past.
Exactly around or approximately around the point where she left.
Yeah, he sent her back to the same time in which she crossed over from the Mirror Universe to the Prime timeline, because at that point the timelines weren't too separate; they were closer together, which means she won't have all of this decomposition of her face.
Right, because She'll be in her correct time
She'll be in her correct
period.
time, but she will still be in the prime timeline, and so
Right.
we might get like a special appearance by a Leland or something as she replaces him, and then I'm assuming Tyler will be back, and then they'll do the Section 31 show from there. I gotta say, I was very surprised that they managed to actually redeem Jojo, because I didn't believe in it, not one
It
bit.
was her. It was her redemption arc. The whole season was setting it
And
all up,
it
which was really
worked. It,
nice. Yeah.
it really worked this season.
Yeah. So I'm happy with Giorgio's redemption as well, and I'm actually ready for Section 31. I'm kind of excited about it.
Yeah, I am too.
So we'll see what happens with that. Starfleet Boy, the shattering effect was great. However, stabbing Michael Burnham was such a bad CGI; it was almost cringe.
I agree.
The blood looked a little
Oh, it
Pepto
was the
Bismol.
sword was kind of floating in her, a bit weird. But to
Yeah.
be fair, the Mandalorian has flawless visual effects, except for that, spoilers. There's a saber in this season, and it looked shite when it came out.
It did.
Um, yes, it did. It looked.
Oh, you're talking about the dark saber?
I didn't want to say it, but yeah.
That's spoilers from last season. Oh, sorry, no more spoilers. Sorry, guys, spoilers for all the.
Well, in last season it didn't bother me, but in this season, the way it comes out. So there's a thing with swords that is this going to hold better?
I love that you're obsessed with getting this right. Like you have to have mustachio.
Okay,
So
gotta do the full mirror.
so we got the mirror universe resolve. Basically it was a tragedy play, everyone dies. And Saru's going to be the new emperor of the mirror universe since he's gone through the Vaharai, and now he can shoot his little stabby things and kill everyone who opposes him. And so next time we go back to the mirror universe, it'll be a Emperor Saru situation. I predict that.
Well, no, because next time they go through the mirror universe is in the original series.
Or Strange New Worlds might have an incursion.
Oh, that might be fun.
That might be fun indeed.
I'm suspecting Lower Decks will do it eventually. Lower Decks better be the show to give me like a mirror Troy and a mirror Riker.
Oh my gosh, the actor who played Bejazel can totally play younger Troy, and
wouldn't it be cool to see like a mirror 7?
Yeah. Wouldn't she be like Picard?
You mean like how 7 wasn't Picard?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
See,
like a mirror B'Elanna would be badass. You know what I mean? Because we're all cooler in the mirror universe. Y'all are lame. We've all got fake mustaches that don't hold.
When you think of Section 1, I think you meant 31 show, has to be a separate timeline. Otherwise, as soon as she went through the Guardian Forever's time, would have immediately changed like it did in TOS. No, not necessarily. Like, by throwing her back into the past, he even warns her, right? Like, he says he had to figure out where to send her, where she would do the least
He might have a point. He might have a point because in the animated series, they're using the Guardian of Forever to go back in the past and change things, and then when things aren't changed correctly, they find themselves, instead of having Spock as the first officer, they've got an Andorian. And they're like, oh my god, I don't know this Andorian, what's going on? And so they need to kind of fix the past, and that's where the whole story comes from, fixing the past and what have you. So he might have a point in the sense that, but then it's not been explained on screen specifically. They can do whatever they want now. So maybe Emperor Georgiou just went back to like an alternate timeline. Maybe we'll have like another universe. We've got Kelvin, Prime, Mirror, and maybe we'll get a fourth one in which Section 31 happens.
Now that Georgiou's been
multiverse,
now that Georgiou's been hopping around, excuse me. Now that Georgiou's been hopping around, maybe she'll be it'll be like Sliders. Maybe they'll go around hopping from universe to universe. Who knows?
I've never seen Sliders.
Yeah, this is Fathery's here. Good morning, Fathery. And it says you're supposed to go live when I'm leaving work, not when I'm getting started. Sorry, we had a temporal incursion and we had to do something today, and so Muratati's here actually instead. He's so ridiculous. Instead,
What?
you look like you could be in like a Shakespeare, 100% in like a Shakespeare play, playing a Shakespeare character right now. Like you should
You
be
think?
doing Shakespeare lines.
To be or not to be?
Yes, so that is
To
Muratati.
kill Stamets or not to kill Stamets?
So I know Yosef is excited about it's a me, Mario. I just see it is you're. Oh my gosh, that's.
It's me, Mario. Luigi.
He thought it was David from Triangular Studios, Audio Studios at first. Yes, David does have that vibe. Yeah, you got to cover.
I gotta do the vibe. I gotta do this. I gotta do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. There you go. There you...
Hey,
Oh
Triangular.
my gosh. Shout out to David at Triangular Audio Studios. Go check it out. What about so Yosef was happy about this. We got Jet Reno. Another Jet Reno moment in this.
They even make a joke about where the hell are you? Where have you been all these past
episodes? True.
Yeah, I feel like one of the Three Musketeers or something.
That's what you look like, also. Exactly. That whole. Where'd you get this mustache from? Is it for Mirror Trek on the Tube? Like, it's really brilliant. Really brilliant. What did you think of
this mustache? Was a Cannon Cop mustache, but the Cannon Cop's elsewhere at the moment. He's chilling out, you know.
So it hasn't been 3 months for Book. What do you think of him reading the field manual and the technical manual in like hours, and then coming up with this like technology?
Did he read them entirely? Did he say that he read them entirely?
I think he might have been joking, but yeah, it's just like
I think he just kind of skimmed through it or something. But he was excited about showing them his tick. He was like, I got tick for y'all, you know.
And they called it, specifically referred to it as Emerald Chain Tech, and Book assures the admiral who's suspicious about the whole thing that it was safe, that he had already de-emeralded it for his own ship. So that was interesting.
And Jet Reno was basically it made me think of Lower Decks. Not major spoilers for Lower Decks, but we learned that one of the engineers in Lower Decks likes to spend as much time as possible in the Jeffries tubes just because he loves it. And I feel like Jet Reno was like all these past weeks, she was just in the Jeffries tubes.
Well, she was trying to change the power grid or something like that.
Yeah,
right? Like,
so she was just crawling in those small spaces, just working, going at it. She's my chief engineer, and if she's not around, she's in the tubes. That's fine with me.
Oh, this is exciting. We're gonna get Mirror Fathery on Starfleet Boy After Dark.
Book, watch the YouTube manual. There was always an Indian guy who does this. Says Joseph Fitrick. You're talking about like there's a YouTube tutorial for the Starfleet manual.
I was gonna create a technology channel, so that would have been very stereotypical of me to do so. I might still do it, Yosef. I could be your Indian guy that actually I'm Pakistani, but I could be your person from. How dare you be Pakistani?
No, how dare you pretend to be Indian if you're Pakistani? This doesn't work.
Well, all Pakistanis are Indian of descent as of 74 years ago. It was all just India. So Pakistan's only existed for a little time. So my heritage is in fact Indian. And
you're quite pale, actually, skin color wise, because I know that some Indians are very, very dark. You know what I mean?
It depends where your family.
The region, I suppose.
The region, India has like such a huge variety of.
It's huge, isn't it?
It's huge, yeah. So if you're from like the southern regions, you tend to be, have darker features, and people from the mountains tend to have lighter features. But, what an odd thing. But I am for the reunification. Speaking of tying it back into Star Trek, I would love to see a unification of India and Pakistan, and maybe they become like a new country. Just
in the mirror universe, it's Pakistania, Pakistandia, and they're
except they're all brutal murderers and they kill everyone.
What would the mirror universe Khan be like?
Oh my gosh, he's like a great. He's like Kirk. He's like an admiral, like in
You
the
think?
Resistance. Yeah, for sure. That would be cool. He was actually nurtured and to be nice. And
Mm.
he's like kind and compassionate. It would be really awesome to explore a mirror universe during the Wrath of Khan era. But they've built in this like thing about how like the mirror universe is slowly moving further away. I don't quite. Maybe we'll talk about this on Starfleet Boy After Dark or on Text Track. Shout out by the way to Text Track tomorrow at 8:30 Central. No, sorry, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. Where we do a fun but deep dive into this episode. So I wonder if we'll address the other mirrors. But I don't quite. I haven't seen it in a long time, and I don't quite understand how Discovery is proposing to change the events of DS9. It doesn't, right? Like it doesn't change anything about DS9. Yeah, so that's
I
all
should do
secure.
a kind of a mirror universe breakdown on my channel just to kind of explain how it goes. I've been hesitant to do it because getting into like we have very few episodes in all of Star Trek that deal with the mirror universe, and so when you start talking about it, you have to kind of talk about details, and I don't want to spoil too much, but I could try and do like a bit of an overview of the history of because it starts off like the Terran Empire was a horrible place, you know. It's the Terran Empire and the humans that were they had the big empire and they were killing everyone, but then you know they were already even in Enterprise there were already coalitions of sorts or rebellions of sorts fighting
Yeah,
against the humans, and eventually we get to that in Deep Space Nine. There's the
where the Bajorans and the
it's the Cardassian Klingon. Isn't it? It's the Cardassian Klingon alliance or something, isn't it?
I thought it was the Bajoran Cardassian alliance or something like that. See, it's been such a long time.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, Starfleet. Father, I almost said Steven. I never call you Steven, but I could. Father
Klingon
Dave,
Cardassian alliance. It is.
Klingon Cardassian. Okay, Dave and I figured that the Mirror Cybok has a Manson family style murder cult. I agree.
Oh my god, that's so cool. Mirror
I
Cyborg
agree.
just goes around in space murdering people.
He's a cult leader too, which he is in both. But that's funny. It
To,
is
to
true
be,
that
to
the
be just to put this into context, it's cool in the context of the mirror universe. It's not cool to go around in space killing people.
yes, yes. Thank you for clarifying. Of all the people, Miratati is the one that clarifies that. Thank you. I appreciate that. If it's not already
Well, I've
known.
seen how it's done here. Here, we don't quite act the same in this universe. I've had to, lay off the murdering here.
It's interesting that the on TechStrek we talked at length about like the idea about nature versus nurture and this whole introduction of the psychogene or whatever it was, and I thought it was interesting how I hope they go a little further with that and but I guess they can't, but I would have liked to have seen that dismissed somehow because I don't think that a gene makes everyone psycho, but who knows, it could. I mean, they also do have the eye thing where they can't see the same way. um Giorgio does state in the previous mirror arc that that's the only difference between humans and Terrans is like
Well, that's
the
the only difference that she knew about, I suppose, because she didn't
I
know
guess so,
about the
yeah.
gene. But then, like, she was fine seeing. Maybe she just got adjusted to it. Well, maybe it was kind of like what's his name, Garrick situation, where Garrick, he's always too. What is it? He's always too cold in the
Mm.
station, but he just kind of moves. He doesn't talk about it. You have to live with
Grin
it. And
and
so
bear
maybe
it,
she was. Hmm?
as they say. Grin and bear it,
Oh yeah.
as the
So
expression goes.
maybe she was just always her eyes were always hurting or something, but she just like it's too bright, but I'll live with it. I'm intrigued to one. I wonder if now if Prime Spock that got both temporally displaced and universally displaced to Kelvin timeline. I wonder if that's how he died. I wonder if he died of old age or if he died in fizzing into different parts.
I think he was not displaced enough. Like Giorgio's been displaced like 900 years, right? And the Kelvin timeline was kind of born just through that temporal incursion. So it was probably closer, as they say, to the
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it wasn't
so
distant enough.
enough to. have him get all whacked out. I think he just, I like the way they just address it as he just died peacefully, of old age. I mean, he was already very old by that
Oh
point,
yeah,
according to
yeah.
our standards, right? So, yeah. But it is interesting. I mean, he would have suffered from mild effects of it, so maybe every now and then he just like
If someone
got lucky.
knew about, but well, in in the time that he existed in the Kelvin timeline, I'm assuming no one knows about this kind of temporal, displacement sickness or whatever. But if yeah, if there was someone that were aware of it, maybe they would have detected something in him.
Captain RGD says Lorca, and I agree. I wanted to see Lorca. I wanted that prediction to come true
I wasn't expecting to see
really
him at all.
badly. No, I know you were like, they're not gonna do
I
it.
didn't believe for 1 minute that Burnham was converted, though. I was like, she's faking it. She's lying
I
about it.
bought it. I actually fell for it. I was like really starting to like. I didn't know where
And
it was gonna go, but I
and
was
what
really starting to
what
see like to buy it. Yeah.
I didn't buy it, and then the moment where she said, "Oh, I've been with you for weeks, but I was just pretending not to be." I was like, "Oh, that's you. That's even more a lie. It's all fake." And yeah, there was a big fight. I was expecting the fight to end with like they stab Georgiou, she falls to the ground, it cuts to black, and then she wakes up on the planet. And they
Yeah.
didn't do it exactly that way. That's what I was expecting.
But it was pretty much that. I did like there was kind of like an Arthurian vibe going on when she stabs Burnham, but she also in the killing of Burnham, she also receives her own death blow from it, which is kind of like how King Arthur and Mordred,
Arthur.
his infernal son, which
Arthur.
his infernal son Mordred also kills him in the process. And so I like that kind of parallel. And obviously it's a demented mirror version of it. Garrick had that endorphin chip. That's right. That was crazy. I forgot about that story where he was like going nuts from that. I really hope we somehow get Prime Lorca back for Section 31 show. I know everyone wants Prime Lorca. He's like and he's such an intriguing possibility. I think that at some point Discovery, or not Discovery can't do it, but at some point maybe he'll pop up somewhere in the other shows for sure.
We don't know what happens between like what happens after Discovery season 2 and before the original series season 1, right? There's a gap in time. We don't know what happens there. Which means if they send Emperor Georgiou back to the prime timeline, but at a time that is kind of like just after the end of the events of what we saw in Discovery, then it doesn't reset anything. Like it doesn't rewrite seasons 1 and 2. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it doesn't necessarily rewrite any of the current kind of canon that we have. It can just be now we're telling a story. It just so happened like she came back and she's doing her thing with the Section 31.
It'd be really cool if, since Section 31, we don't know what stage of development it is. It's definitely not being filmed right now, right? Like it's
No, I would really like the story of Section 31 to be about how, if it's Emperor Georgiou leading it, I would really like it to be about how it became so secretive. Because in Enterprise it was secretive, but then it wasn't necessarily um, the Starfleet that we know at that time. It was like Earth Starfleet, right? And then it became basically a very open, like everyone knew about it in Discovery. And then
yeah, it was a little too.
once you cut to Deep Space Nine, no one knows about it anymore. So there has to something happen to make it so secretive, and I'm assuming that control has a lot to do with it.
I don't
Um,
know that they're widely known in Star Trek Discovery, because the people that do know about it, everyone kind of fits into that need to know. Like the Admiral knows about it, and then I don't think Pike knew about Section 31 until it was presented to him, and then he was against it. I don't know. I have to go back and watch and kind of like pick out these details, but I got the impression that it was like just those people But then again, Sarek knew about it too. He's like, "You must take Spock to Section 31." So I don't know. It's a little confusing. You're right. Maybe they are, but they definitely go underground at some point, even further, because no one knows about them again until Deep Space Nine, I guess. Um,
Well, we've come to the
I
conclusion, Fathery, that I'm sorry, he's commenting about how there's. We've come to the conclusion that it's more an illusion. The Guardian of Forever
or just a
was
or a temporal incursion. That's what we've kind of.
yeah. It's not This doesn't affect the actual timeline of events that happened in that first season. This felt very. I don't know how to explain it, but this felt very Star Trek, and I felt very. I don't. I really like this 2-part episode that they did.
Yeah, me too. Where I was going before was that I wouldn't mind if Section 31 is just like relaunched or the idea of it, or like Giorgio comes into Strange New Worlds. That would be pretty cool, I think, if she like pops in and then launches Section 31 from Strange New Worlds. That would be an interesting thing.
How many soft pilots does this show need? Come on. Section 31 doesn't need another soft pilot in Strange
Well,
New
do you think
World.
this was a pilot? Do you think this was a
is.
pilot though? Because like, there's no
Just set up
Section
a
30. There's really no Section 31 activity. I think this was the way to write Giorgio out of Discovery, so it was her
I
send
would
off.
count it. I would count it. This is like the.
To me, a true pilot is like setting up the premise for the show.
It's not the characters, and it's not. Yeah, I understand what you mean, but this is putting Giorgio in a place and time where she can be part of that show. But yeah, it's not a soft pilot in the sense that you don't have because usually soft pilots within
like
a show will introduce
like
a whole new cast and a whole new
Yeah.
premise in a whole new place, and it's like, oh, now we can follow these people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
But
think
yeah,
this is
didn't
just
do
her
that.
bowing out. This is her bowing out of Discovery. Right, this is like Discovery wrapping up its loose ends, kind of in a nice way, and giving Giorgio, who deserves it, a nice little send off. What did you think of? Okay, so we talked about Giorgio. We talked about Book a little bit. We talked about Jet Reno. I like the way I like that when she's like, "Oh, it would unravel him to thank you." Like that whole thing was.
And he doesn't
funny.
say thank you.
He still doesn't say.
He still doesn't say it. Just
I
walks
love
away.
it.
He
Yeah.
could have said it just to contradict Reno, but nope. He's just
No,
like,
I love it.
I'm
He's like,
walking away.
she's damn right.
Reno's such a good character. I wish that she decided to stay. What's she called? I forget. The actor. I forget her name.
Tig Notaro.
Tig Notaro. I wish that she would kind of accept to be on as like a regular or a main on the show. Just because I want so much of her. Like you're not allowed to eat in engineering. It's a snack. It counts as it's a treat or whatever she says. It counts as an accessory, not as food.
Candy.
I love
candy.
Yeah, I love her comebacks.
Yeah, she's fantastic. She's a great foil to Stamets, and she's just great in terms of like a source of comedy relief. Fathery says, "I think this is my favorite Disco story so far." It was really good. Fathery, question for you, because I don't know if you came in when we were talking about that, but were you impressed with the presentation of the Guardian of Forever and the reveal? How did that suit you? I'm sure we'll talk about it on.
I very much enjoyed the fact that they kind of textured in the voice.
Yes.
From the guy. I think that was nice. Didn't have to do it, but it was nice to have that.
A homage. Homage. I spelled two wrong. I spelled G wrong. Probably homage. It reminds me of the way Ensign Rowe episode and the Wounded episode of TNG set up Deep Space Nine. Interesting. Yeah. I guess that's true.
I don't have any notes. I usually take notes, but this
I know because I got you so early. I was like, let's do this. Yeah, I don't have any notes either. I only got to watch it one time. I did go back and watch the Carl scene like another time just because I loved it so much. I wanted to go and see all that stuff take place. So what did we learn about the
Carl calls it a mirror universe. He doesn't call it the mirror universe, but he says a mirror universe.
No, he actually says in one scene, which kind of okay. I'm glad you brought that up because it kind of disappointed me. Because I've up until now I've liked where it didn't have a name per se, right? Like in universe. So I always liked that it was.
Labels.
What's that? I hate labels, right? I'm like,
you're all like prime timeline doesn't exist. It's all just one thing. You're wrong, sir. Look at me. Where am I from?
Well, Carl does specifically state the mirror universe and the prime universe. Those are now statements about that.
Well, he says a mirror universe. He doesn't say.
No, he says the. I think he says the. I have to go back and watch now again just to be sure, but I'm pretty sure he says the prime and the mirror universe, referring to them as the. And that's what I would have liked. That's what I was mad at. I would have liked it if he said a mirror universe, and then I would have liked if he just referred to it as this universe, because I do agree with Giorgio that it depends on your perspective. In the mirror universe, they're all like, "F you, you guys are the mirror universe. We're the prime."
Well, yeah, it's
like,
it's very prime centric in that sense, and like the way we all call them, like, oh, you know, Mariner in the bar goes, "Aliens, calm down." It's like aliens. Well, that's it's because it's
I suppose I just personally didn't like the designation, but now it's what does that mean, Canon Cop? Like that's so what does that mean now for referring to? Now you got to call it the mirror universe and the prime universe, right? Like that's basically what you have to do.
Well, this mirror universe, prime timeline, Kelvin timeline. I think the words timeline and
you see me get triggered. You see my eyes.
The words prime. I know that in the real science of the world, a timeline and a universe, they are not the same thing. But I think that in the context of Star Trek, they are interchangeable when describing various realities, because I think the whole concept of multiple realities coexisting, you can interchangeably call them like a universe or a timeline, just because. But we get the picture. It's like it's a different stream in which time flows, right?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Father. He says her body is in a mirror universe. And he says that he is sending her back to a time when the mirror universe and the prime universe are still aligned. Okay, cool. All right, I guess so. Still don't like it, but it's. Did we get any more information about the burn in this episode? I totally didn't.
No, they didn't do the burn. But we this was the side quest thing. This was we got the double episode on. It was the conclusion to Giorgio's story, and the development of it, and it was a fun way to get people into the mirror universe. Even if I'm not convinced it was the actual mirror universe, this was more a representation of what the mirror universe could have been if things had gone differently. But it was fun to be able to get those actors, playing the roles. I was so sad that we didn't see Bryce die, though. We got the death of Landry, and then she throws the second badge, Bryce. I'm like, but we didn't see him die. Well, he didn't get a fight scene. Yo, what the hell? I wanted to see Bryce.
Half the ship. I wanted to.
And then there's like 50 other badges, like digga digga digga. And then she's like, I'm like, why didn't she kill Detmer though? And then she's like, everyone. I'm like, oh yeah, all right, here we go. Detmer's dying.
I really wanted more of Killy, and I liked the scenes that we got with her, but I thought she was underutilized in the second part.
We have enough Killy in this show. We see Killy all the time. It was time to shine for other people. Nilsson said something.
And it was cool to see both Nilsson and Ariam in the same scene together. That was cool. I like that as well. It's true. All right, cool. So
it was a poor substitute for Lorca, that middle-aged fat man on the ship.
Yeah, who even was that guy? Was he famous?
I'm sorry, I don't know who he is. I was, you know what I mean. I got nothing against you. You're very kind. And thank you so much for showing up and being in Discovery and all of that. But I was expecting, like, if you're not going to put Jason Isaacs because you can't bring him back as Prime Lorca. Or as Mirror Lorca, sorry. I wanted someone more, someone less underwhelming than just I don't know. Like it looked like.
And where were we, Risa?
It could have been my uncle. You know what I mean? or my dad ready to mow the lawn or something. It was like, I needed something more epic. I would have enjoyed maybe it could have been it would have been so fun to bring in what's his name, the actor that does Malfoy,
Jason
the young
Jason Isaacs.
no,
Oh, oh, I see what you're saying. To get oh God, what is his name? He's a great actor. He was in Flash, actually. He's in the
he was
Flash.
in the Flash. Wait, there's Lucius Malfoy and the other one is what?
Draco.
Draco Malfoy. What's his name? What's the actor's name? I gotta find his name.
I'm gonna remember it before you look it up. Hold on, I'm gonna do my best.
Tom Felton.
Tom Felton. Thank you.
All right, that would have been fun. You got because he's an adult now. He's not necessarily.
I think Tom Felton would be amazing.
He would have been cool. Tom
Star
Felton
Trek.
comes in, and they're like, "Oh my god!" And so it gives you that tie-in. Like in the real world, we know, oh, it's funny because he played, the son, and here he's just a friend or a. I was expecting that kind of cameo.
Prime Lorca should have a long lost child, and it should be played by Tom Felton. With
interesting,
a secret child that he had with Admiral Cornwall that she never told anyone about. She hid her pregnancy, just like David, just like David. All right, Father.
Are you all talking about Harry Potter? Well, fine. Who would you have cast instead of my uncle?
We're getting ready to go, but I just want to finish off. We are actually coming up to time. But I want to finish off with, I really like the ending where they all gathered together and doing toasts to Giorgio. I thought that was both humorous and apt, and I shared like a lot of the sentiments. And I thought that Burnham's sharing was very deep, and I liked it a lot. She was a pain in the ass, just like you, nerd Toddy.
How dare you! I was a bit surprised that they did that because, like, if there's someone that did they? So they didn't hate her, I guess. They just thought she was maybe annoying or something. Because if there's someone that you hate that dies, you're not necessarily going to go and toast. Or maybe once someone really dies and you kind of reflect on not so much the hatred that you had for or the disagreements that you had, but you reflect
They
on
choose to report her as dead, even though she's not. Now, again, this is a weird thing. Like, why would you?
Or is it only Burnham that knows she went through the portal?
Saru, she suggests to Saru, like when Saru asks, like, is she dead? Like, she doesn't answer, and then he says something like, "Oh, she died," or whatever. I don't remember. I have to go watch it again. But like the impression was, and so that's the other thing is like, so Burnham doesn't even tell him about the portal. I guess she's keeping the Guardian's secret, maybe.
Perhaps.
Because he could be used in the future to do other things. So, like, is this the last we've seen of the Guardian? That's another question I have. Audience, what do you think? Is this the last of the Guardian? Should the Guardian be used sparingly? I think so. I don't think we should see him again.
This is kind of how they did Loki. In is it Endgame? Loki picks up the Tesseract in Endgame and vanishes, and now he has a spin-off show.
Mm-hmm.
And so they kind of did the same thing.
Right. There you go. Everything's connected to the MCU.
The MCU has a mirror universe? Yeah, it does.
Anyways, so yeah, I like that toast a lot. I thought that was a nice way to end the episode and close the chapter on Giorgio. So to Philippa, I'm drinking on water, but still, to Philippa Giorgio. To Emperor Giorgio, we look forward to seeing your Section 31 show. She's done with the Mirror Universe. She won't go back to the Mirror Universe. She's done with it. She's very happily adopted her new Prime Universe persona, and I'm here for it. What do you think? What are your closing thoughts on that, Toddy?
I'm not disappointed. She's no longer in Discovery. Even if I think that in this season she was better used than in previous seasons. And I think that they managed to deal with her redemption arc pretty well. I'm just not disappointed that this character is no longer around. We don't need such a morally ambiguous character. But I think that this episode was a lot of fun. All of the Mirror Universe aspects were very fun. Then we got all the Guardian Forever things, and I thought that was great. I thought that was great. It was nice to tie into some older Trek, and yeah, I think all the performances were fantastic. The visual effects, they are what they are. They're not the best visual effects that you can get, but they're fine. They work fine.
Yeah, they were pretty good. I did like the Guardian update. I did like that he kind of snaps out with two fingers. That was interesting. A
I
little
like the
nod.
whole Carl concept of like
Carl
now the
concept.
Guardian
Yeah. I
can
want
be
to
like,
know why he chose the name Carl though. That'd be cool to. Would have
why
been cool
not?
to find out. Why not?
Why
But
not? Why not Carl? What's wrong with Carl?
it's true. I
Carl.
wanted Carl. Coral. All right. Well, I'm gonna give it my rating, which is a flat 9. What do you guys,
That's
audience? Let us
almost
know.
a card out of 10.
Audience, let us know what you thought. Go for it, Toddy. What's your rating?
Um, I give this one an 8.
What did you give the last one? We
I
gave it
gave
a
the other one.
tentative
I yeah,
7.5, I think, right, or
I
something.
gave it a 7. I think so.
And
Oh,
then what do you,
can't do
as
it.
as a two-parter, I guess, which is more fair. I think this is a solid two-parter, and I would give it like a 9.9 as well, like as a two.
Well, the
As
funny
a
thing
as a two part.
is I don't usually. So if I would have, if we would have say part one is for me a 7 and part two is an 8, it would be a 7.5. But that's not how I rate them. I look at the whole story as a whole, and I think this story as a whole deserves an 8 for what it was.
Nice.
So yeah,
Very cool. We got a 7 out of 10 from Yosef. Very entertaining episode. Joseph's been really pleased with these last two episodes. I'm very pleased to hear that.
he's sold. He's sold on Discovery.
Audience, thank you for joining us today. And sorry about the temporal incursion that caused this to go on earlier than normal. But maybe I'll do another tweet at 6:30 for the people who are expecting us at 6:30, just to remind them that this episode existed. We had a good, solid turnout though for early morning crew. Maybe next time I'm on vacation, I'll do another early morning episode. They're not so bad, but with a cup of coffee and what was it that Garrick had? Adrenaline. um, so yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you guys later on tomorrow on Text Trek, starting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, followed by Starfleet Boy After Dark. It's part of your TQIF lineup. Must see YouTube. And then Trek on the Tube is working on his review and Easter eggs video for this, which he'll release when it's ready. In the meantime, what else have you got going on that you want to promote?
Well, I hope to be able to release this video sometime soon, but it won't be. I've managed to put out some of my Discovery reviews on like the what is it, on Fridays, but I probably won't be able to do that this time because I've now got 2 episodes to write and so many Easter eggs to go over. So I'll try to put out now as soon as possible. I also have I'll try to do a Mirror Universe episode, a Mirror Universe breakdown at some point. We've got my Mandalorian review coming sometime soon.
Oh my gosh, tomorrow is it for The Mandalorian.
That's right. Tomorrow is
Season
the
2
end of
ends.
which it was a great season, but I'm just grateful that it's ending, so that you know what I
Your
mean. It's like,
anxiety levels.
plans to watch like it's too much. It's too much. I can't handle all this.
Well, it's right on time because now you've got The Expanse to watch,
Let me
and
just send a link. This is my new channel, everyone. I just sent a link. I've
thank
created
you.
a new channel that is not a Star Trek channel. It is called ABTG. It's for Absolute Bullshit True Greatness, and I'm just going to start reviewing random shows
Everything
that I watch.
else.
Yeah, everything
Yeah.
everything that isn't
Everything
Trek.
that's not Star Trek, right there. Yeah,
that
you're gonna be managing 2 channels. That's really impressive, man. That was a compliment. I swear. You're like, ooh. Don't worry, you'll get your friends will help you. Let us help. You can make us like.
Well,
Can't you make us like
Trek on the
minions or
Tube is
whatever?
managing. Trek on the Tube is managing Trek on the Tube.
Right.
I'll be managing ABTG. All right.
it's hot.
Every movie is absolute bullshit. All of them.
Mirror Trek on the Tube.
You should come to my universe because all of the movies all of the villains win.
That's hilarious. This was nice doing the stream in the morning while the episode is still fresh. Thanks, guys. Ah, thank you. Yeah, we'll try. I don't know. It's hard for me during normal operating
Oh
times
well,
because I'm working at this time. But...
I can't send the link because you can't send links. But anyway.
Oh, here we go. Hold on. Instead of a link, can you are you searchable yet?
Yes. If you put in ABTG, there's a channel that pops up at some point.
Here, look. I gave you a banner. There you go. ABTG new channel. Go check it out. Subscribe. Oh, there it is. Oh no, that's not the link though. It didn't give me the approval. Normally it says approve this, so YouTube doesn't like links. That's interesting. Anyways, yeah, so thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed the stream. LLAP, thanks. I can go to bed early today. It's true. Oh, here we go. Look at this. There's the new channel. Very cool.
Anyway, I'm going to try to put out maybe videos on Mondays on that or something. We'll see. See how it goes.
Excellent. One last question for Meritati. Is Zack Snyder good at making superhero movies in your universe? I bet you're...
No, because movie directors murder each other in our universe in order to like, get product or get to produce a film or whatever. So
oh my gosh, that's
when
so
Ryan
true.
Johnson was hired to replace J.J. Abrams, J.J. just murdered him. Boom. And he's like, no, I'm going to carry on. But anyway, but then, Denis Villeneuve has just murdered everyone, and he's doing all the sci-fi right now.
That's amazing. All right, Denis is the emperor of cinema in the Marine. All right, audience, live long and prosper, and thank you so much for joining us. We had quite a nice turnout, so live long and prosper. We'll see you next time. See ya.